Hey, this is a podcast. No, wait, it's a comedy podcast. Well, we tried to make it a comedy podcast, and it's not meant to offend anyone. So don't get offended, okay? And wait, there's something else. Oh, yeah, yeah. Listener discretion is advised.
Audiomatic presents Our Last Week.
Hi, Kunal.
Hi, Pal.
So this is an emergency episode
It's yeah. It's
because
the
I have.
siren. The siren is going off.
There's a siren going.
It's
I'm
a,
on a highway
yeah.
somewhere in Maharashtra, and the
Yeah.
reason I need your emergency help is because I'm in a production. I'm acting in a production. I've been doing this for a while.
Right. Right.
And my thing is that I did a scene today that I thought I was okay at. In fact, I think I was quite bad in it. And I was a bit unsure about the scene. And I went to the director and I said, I didn't say anything. I just looked a little flustered, saying I was okay. But the director said, it's fantastic, and hugged me and started clapping. And everyone around me started clapping. And I immediately then started thinking, maybe I'm great, maybe I'm brilliant.
Yeah.
And I started saying, was it okay? Like a bit of false modesty. And they were like, it's great. It's an excellent thing. But in my heart, I knew it was shit. And my first conundrum is this, Kunal. It's that when you've done something that you know is shit, doesn't have to be acting, can be life, can be anything, right? But that's what people love about you. And all the work that you think is good, like you spend a lot of time and hours doing it, right? Like, say, this podcast, which we think is funny. And people turn around, they're like, that's. Does that mean that I'm at the opposite end of what the world is? Like, I made some aesthetic choices in that scene that I thought were horrendous, right? And they were so bad that if you were directing the film, you would have either thrown me off the set, there was a fire nearby, you would have thrown me in the fire, perhaps in a pool of water. Because I'd like to think we share a similar aesthetic. Now, what happened in this situation was I was praised, I was lauded, even the extras, everyone got involved in clapping for me. So, in that moment, immediately, because I'm only human, I turned from thinking I'm shit. I destroyed my own values and started basking in the glory of this fake joy. And at what point do I lose perspective of who I am and start enjoying this thing that I did that was shit? And I guess, is this what life is about? We'll do a bunch of things that we think are shit, and the whole world will remember us and say, these were great. And on our deathbed, we would be like, I guess we were wrong about everything.
I don't know whether there's any solution to this. I think that either way, when you're being applauded, and when you're being encouraged, and when you're being lauded for something you've done, you must never question it. You must never.
See, I
See,
don't know
I'll
how.
tell you why. I'll tell you.
Yeah,
I'll tell
tell
you
me
why,
why.
pal.
Tell me
Because
why.
when
Tell
you
me why.
do the work, you love the most, and you think that this is the closest to your heart, and this is exactly how you wanted it to come out. People will shit all over it, and people
Yes.
will call you garbage, and then they will not like you, and they will abuse you, and your family will disown you, and then you'll be like, "Arey, but I love it. This is exactly." So I'm saying, when you do get it, for whatever you're doing, when you get appreciation from whoever you get appreciation, you should just take it. You should just take it, and you should just love it and enjoy it and like suck it up. I'm saying now, say you had to be Santa for a children's birthday party, and
Yeah.
they thought you were the best Santa ever. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And everyone was excited, and the parents clapped for you. Are you going to sit and say, "Arey, this is not my life, yeah, this is not what I'm worth," and all that? Forget it. That is what you're worth. You're worth that. You have that.
Because you're doing
And if
it.
you've done it well and people have laughed and they've clapped and they've given you a tip at the end of it, it's great. It's fantastic. I think you had a great day.
But do you think no one understands us? Because I'll tell you, I'd like you to think back to 2017 when we had done a show called Going Viral, which, if our listeners want to watch, it's still on Amazon. And in it, there was a moment where you play the owner of a social media company. And there's a moment in it where you are sitting across from a child who is supposed to know a lot about social media. And if you remember the child we had cast, his face had no expression. Like he was a child very symptomatic of the modern age. Like there was nothing on his face. There was no joy. There was no sadness. There was no happiness. There was no mischief. There was nothing. He had a face, and he brought that face with all the dullness that a child of the social media age can have.
Right.
And you sat next to him, and for 4 seconds you're just looking at this child, and you end up saying, "Get out." Neither of you have said anything to each other. It's just
Yeah.
you looking at his face. And I'm laughing a lot because you and I found that very funny. That you look in the eyes of an empty child, he looks back at you, and just his face is enough for you to tell him to get out. And
Yeah.
I thought that that was a brilliant, comedic, dramatic moment. And if you remember, we tried to explain it to our own crew and to the people we were working with why this is a great moment, and nobody found it funny.
No. I guess even the audience didn't find it funny.
They
No
didn't
one found
find
it
it
funny.
funny. And I remember you and I burst out laughing. Like you couldn't do the scene. We had to retake, and you barely laugh on set. This was one time when we had to do the take 7 or 8 different times because you couldn't keep it together because his
Yeah.
face was the joke. And it is impossible to convey that humor to anybody else. And my conundrum is that, do we not understand where we live or what is funny? What is it about us that we cannot think like everybody else?
It's some sort of failing on our part, I think.
It's our failure.
See, and one of our major deficiencies is not being able to enjoy things, being cynical, being so critical of everything. Even whatever we do ourselves, we can't truly enjoy it. We can't truly enjoy it because we see it for how shit and shallow it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm saying so like some amount of blissful sort of ignorance, or is so good to have in life. Sometimes you need to just let go of that of that I guess of that critical cynic that lives within us, and enjoy the moment and the applause, and because honestly it's not going to come for the stuff that you like, pal.
It never does. What you're saying reminds me of an example. When I was 13 years old, my parents and I had we thought we'd take a forest holiday, like a safari. And we went with a family that we knew in Orissa to Simlipal Hills. And the family said, we will organize the accommodation because we know people. And they organized us. This is before the internet era. And they thought what they'd organized was these beautiful tourist lodges in the middle of the forest. And they said it'd come with a cook and it'd be lovely. And we could hear elephants at night and moonlight, and you'd be in the middle of the jungle. And we got there, and the lodges were there, but they were missing windows. And the cook was there as promised, but doors and windows were missing. So you were just living in a tree house open on all sides, freezing at night. And my father, I remember, lost his cool, and the other gentleman, his friend, lost his cool, and he said, "Yeah, you are charging for 5-star accommodation, and you are cheating the public. There are no doors and windows." And the caretaker guy said, "Sir, ab yehi hai to yehi hai." And we spent the night there. Next day we left. But that guy taught me a valuable lesson in life, that yehi hai to yehi hai. So do you often think that that is what life is? You think you're doing a five-star thing, but actually you're just staying in a house without doors and windows.
Yeah.
But by the way, sorry to interrupt.
It,
Because I'm living next to the highway somewhere in the middle of Maharashtra, these trucks drive by. And I don't know if you can
yeah.
hear, but some of these trucks have fascinating horns.
Yeah, yeah. They have this is a musical tune. It's to scare away all sort of living. I mean, any life form. So it's not only for like dogs and deer and other sort of these things, but anything living
Anything
in
living
front of it.
is
Yeah.
terrifying. Is
Microbial
terrifying.
life also moves out of the way. There's
Yeah,
no way
run!
that it's like amoebic life also is cleared. It's very scary sound.
They make a dash.
Because it's the sound that you hear. That's the last sound you hear before you are before you crash into something. It's
Yeah.
like
So returning to yehi hai to yehi hai, do you feel that way
जो
about
है
life?
सो है.
Jo
Yeah.
hai, so hai. Why are we so bad to accept that? I know you, for one, are always sort of saying, "Oh, this is terrible, that's terrible. I'm doing this, this is awful," and the house is very noisy. So why can't we be happy with jo hai, to hai, so hai?
Yeah, I don't know. I think I think we are happy, but I think there is a certain amount of happiness that you derive from complaining also.
Yeah,
The,
yeah, yeah,
the,
yeah.
the joy of the complaint. I mean, that is a joy that you wouldn't want to take away from anyone. Whether you truly feel cheated out of something in life is a separate issue. But you should never be not allowed to complain. I think complaining
Because I think you and
it's
I are
like air.
constant. Yeah, our constant state is kyun hai. That's
Yeah.
all we ask is kyun hai.
जो है सो है लेकिन क्यों है लेकिन है क्यों ये होटल अगर दरवाजा नहीं है खिड़की नहीं है तो क्यों है and also what we often ask is क्या है which is what is this.
That is my everyday state in India, Kunal. I wake up every
Yeah.
day, and even before I can ask you, I ask, "Kya hai?" I can't understand
Kya hai?
half the things people are saying. They talk about music, they're talking about films. I don't know what they're talking about. Why can't we start? One second. Before you carry on, can we slow down? No, we don't
Yeah.
do that. What are you talking? What are you talking about? What are you
What are
talking
you
about?
saying?
A bird?
Yeah.
Are you talking about a bank account? What are you talking about? I want to
Yeah.
participate, but I don't.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is the thing.
Pal, I have a small disclaimer. It's quite late tonight. We're recording. It's 9:30 in the night.
Yes.
And it's not like a nightly thing that I do. But today I felt like it, and we just so happened to be recording. But I'm having a drink. I'm having some alcohol
Tremendous. Tremendous.
while we are recording. I'm actually drinking at work.
Yeah, you are. And I
Yeah.
think it's only fair our listeners know what you're drinking. I think it's only fair.
I'm having rum and thumbs up. As in,
Tremendous.
it's a very
Tremendous.
yeah.
I really want to have that rum and thumbs up with you, but I feel like if I live interior Maharashtra and I drove
Yeah.
down to meet you in South Bombay, I could probably get there in 6 hours, but I'd probably be hit by a truck. It'd be driven
Yeah.
by a man who has already drunk some rum and thumbs up.
Yeah. So let's get into a break.
Yeah, let's do a break. This is a break.
This is the break.
This is a break.
Welcome to the break.
What was it earlier? Not a break.
That was not a break.
This is a break. During this break, we would like to advertise a product.
What should we advertise?
Hands.
Hands. Yeah.
Hands. Without it,
It's a little tougher.
it's difficult.
yeah.
Get hands.
Yeah.
Live life to the fullest. Hold things. Touch things. Hands.
Slap
क्या
yourself.
बताऊं?
Yeah.
हाथ के बिना क्या होता है? कुछ नहीं. So, if you don't want to listen to shit ads like this,
Don't listen to these ads.
do something with your life.
Yeah.
Go to patreon.com.
Yeah.
where you will not have to listen to us talking nonsense.
Yeah, and you don't have to listen to this garbage part of the podcast.
This garbage part, you can listen to other garbage parts of the podcast.
and you can listen to it ad free.
Ad free, improved, no hearth ads.
Nothing.
Yeah.
It'll just flow straight
Hamara
through.
haath chodo.
Yeah.
And seedha udhar jao.
Yeah. You'll be left alone.
And the best thing is I won't be speaking Hindi
Yeah.
with a colonial accent.
So, I mean, anyone would pay for that.
And there should be a cost, and that cost is very minimal
Yes.
for you to be on Patreon, get special episodes, merchandise, live shows,
Yep.
and many other benefits. At some point, you can see us in a live show and come and touch our nose.
No, don't touch the nose.
No, that's not. See, again,
Yeah.
these are not things you'd have to listen to.
You don't have to hear any of this.
any of this nonsense. So we are talking badly to tell you what to avoid.
Yeah.
So avoid this.
Avoid this
Go to
garbage.
patreon.com /
our last week.
bye.
Bye.
Now I'll talk for another hour, Kunal, so people switch off immediately.
I think we can just do a low hum over here during the ad break.
Shall I read the Hanuman Chalisa?
No. That because that'll get offensive.
Yeah.
Offend.
Yeah. To religious and non-religious people.
And to people with ears.
Exactly. Yeah. Kaan. Zarurat hai. That should be an ad for Spotify. Kaan. Leke aaye.
Yeah. But I want to know what is your general take on alcohol and this this nightly drinking. My father, when he used to drink, used to always, like, at around 7:30, 7:45, the tray would come out with the ice, and there'd be a cheap vodka that he'd kill half a bottle, and it would be a nightly thing. It was like a given that the ice tray is going to come out at like a certain time. Was this a tradition that you have noticed or in your own house?
Exactly the same. And you've asked a tremendously brilliant question, because it does bring me to my next conundrum, which is there comes an age in a man's life in India where sitting with a group of other men, on an evening involves a drink coming out and a bottle of whiskey comes out and some tales are told. Now, when you extrapolate that to a group of men drinking, an group of Indian men, right? It can either be brilliant. It's usually, there are 2-3 ways it goes. If it's old school friends, then it's lots of reminiscing. Hey, what happened to Kailash? Arey, you didn't hear he died. He died. It goes there. If it's old work colleagues, and he's like, then it becomes all about, and he left, he left Microsoft. Where is he now? It's like, he joined Cisco, he's moved to the US. Acha. So it's that, right? When you have nothing to say to each other, it's Antakshari. Right? Then there is a group, like among artists, where people think, artists, when they gather and the whiskey comes out, come, Anuvab, come. It's usually in a hotel room or whatever. And you've spent a lot of time with actors and the whiskey comes out, or musicians or whatever. It's a lot of bitching. Like when a group of artists get together, it's drinking, but it's really sort of, everyone there is thinking there's another group of artists who are having a better drink than this. And I was hoping you would teach me a trick or two to exit a drinking room like that.
I had one experience where
Yes.
we were having the odd drink after the shoot and stuff like that, and some days we'd have it, some days we wouldn't. But there was one guy on the set who was an actor, and he spread this rumor that he if he gets into it now, then he goes too hard. So he so then everyone was scared that
But he had warned everyone. He had given everyone
warned
a
everyone,
warning.
don't call me, because when I get into it now, then there's no stopping me. Then then I'm hanging off balconies and waiters are like in the picture. There's fist fights. There's all this going on. So don't get me into it only.
Just don't call me in that uncle's
Call
room.
me. And otherwise, he also spread a rumor that he's recovering. He's recovering from generally like too much of it. So everyone's like, no, like it's not right on him to call him and all that. Let him be and all. Let him be. Yeah, it's better. So So it was a great way that he found this loophole, which was like, everyone still cares for him and felt like, poor guy, he's trying to, it's for our own good, that he's staying away. How much he must be missing this, but still he won't come because he knows it's for our own good. So it was like that kind of, I'm protecting you from me kind of kind of
Because
attitude.
what happens when artists get together is when the outburst happens. Let us
Yeah.
say, like, for example, yesterday we were shooting and we had about 2 hours off, so we got to see a beautiful sunset in interior
Hmm. Hmm.
Maharashtra, which is behind
Hmm.
this guest house where one of the actors was staying. And we're sitting
Hmm.
there, we're having a gin and we're just sharing stories. And we
Hmm.
got into a thing about Quentin Tarantino. Somebody
Hmm.
said he's terrible, and someone says brilliant. Now, in that moment, without and I was feeling a bit cold, but it's rude to leave,
Hmm. Hmm.
It's a small unit, actors are getting all along, it's good fun. Now, suddenly in that sort of space, if I displayed some bizarre behavior, if I suddenly
Hmm.
said, I fucking hate Quentin Tarantino, and I picked up and I smashed and broke this guest
Hmm.
house's table, you know, then I feel like people on set will be wary to invite me again.
Yeah.
Like I may have a little more free time because
Yeah.
otherwise, people are like, he's a nice, genial guy, let's hang out with him. And
Yeah.
we're all here, we're lonely, we're away from our families. It's like how you become friends with people on ships or whatever. But I think just to give yourself a little individual time,
Hmm.
just a little bit of insanity. That this other guy did it by forewarning the currency.
Hmm.
I'm telling you now, don't call me.
Yeah.
Don't call me. Because then you're like, hey, that guy came, what happened? He just shat on that guy's bed.
Yeah.
We were all drinking, and suddenly the middle of it, he just shat on that guy's bed. And then they're like,
So
but we warned you, we told you don't call him.
he told you not to call him. He told you not to call him. It's your fault. So I think it's best to build this whole thing, that
Just be a, yeah, just be a loner, yeah.
alone.
Because otherwise, I feel like if you're a nice person now, it becomes very
Hmm.
hard to get out of things.
It's tough.
You know, like I'm saying, you're a genial sort of guy. Everyone will want to call you to things, and then
Hmm.
you're like, why didn't you come? Yeah, well, you're too big, huh? You can't join us for a drink. Just join us. But if a little rumor starts that you're a bit off mentally,
Hmm.
like, yeah, Kunal's a lovely, lovely guy, but just, just 2 drinks down, just, I'm not sure you want to be around him. Like,
Yeah.
if you spread a little thing, what does he do? He just starts barking, he just starts
He starts
making.
barking a lot, yeah. And he makes truck sounds.
Kunal,
Yeah.
I had a conundrum, interesting conundrum. There's a social media influencer.
Hmm.
He's like a self-help guru.
Hmm.
And what he's done is he's put an Instagram reel out where he's told his millions of followers how much money he made last year,
Okay.
and he made 27 crores. Let's not name him, it's not important. But then he broke down how he made that 27 crores.
Hmm.
Now, two questions to you. Would you ever reveal your income and then go into excruciating detail of how that income is broken up? Because I'll tell you what I'd do. I would lie about the income and about how I made it,
Hmm.
just to
Hmm.
confuse people. I'd say, I made 60 lakhs last year and 11 lakhs I made for appearances.
Hmm.
And people are like, oh, Paul made 11 lakhs from appearances.
Hmm.
Where did he appear? Like, I just think it'd be good to throw people off track. So I have two, three questions for you. One, would you ever be open to something like this?
I don't know. I guess he's a financial advisor. I guess he's talking about money all the time. I guess it would be interesting for people to listen. But for me as an actor, why would people be, I guess people have this interest in knowing how much actors and
Yeah.
entertainers make. But I don't think, I don't know whether I would like to disclose or discuss or anything like that. I mean, I can openly disclose that it's not much. That's all that I can say.
But also, like I would, the reason I'm thinking of mischief is that I would also create streams of income to fool the public that don't exist.
The other thing is that people love to know people's expenses also. You know, they love to know, oh, he spent so much on this, he spent so much on that watch, he spent so much on this car. So I'm saying that, like, I feel that, like, if I were to do it, I wouldn't be talking as much about my income as I would be talking about my expenses. And then people would really wonder that what is the shit this guy is buying? Like, what is this nonsense that this person consumes? You know?
40,000
So,
rupees for raw pressery guava juice.
what kind of human being is this? I'm saying that leads to more discussion. It always does. That, how much they spent. It's not how much they made.
Yeah.
Made to people make. People make all sorts of money, and, like, we have people who are
Inheritance.
jewelers and businessmen
Yeah.
and inheritance. Nobody talk. When they start talking when you spend the money, not when you make the money. Making the money, people are just like, that bastard made the money. When you spend it, na, so, like, the next video this guy should do should not be about how he made the 20 whatever crores or 28 whatever, how much ever he made, but how ridiculously he spent it. And if he
That's
said, I
very
invested
good.
in mutual funds and then I put so much in this stock and then in crypto, and then people, it's damn boring.
Very
You have
boring.
to say that, I spent like 47 lakhs on hairspray,
Yeah.
or I just bought,
He's got
yeah,
20 shoe socks. They are
yeah.
socks in the shape of shoes. He's got 24 of them.
Yeah,
Why does
and
he
then
have 9 remotes?
he bought 45 bottles of Old Spice. Why did he do that? You don't need more than one bottle for your whole life. It lies there on your shelf.
He's got
What
9
is he going to
money
do?
plants that he decorates around his bed. It's
Yeah,
this is far more interesting. Far more.
it's much better. So I would definitely be open to discussing the ridiculous things I buy, because that would be far more
That's a good
entertaining for
insight,
people.
much more of an insight. Do you know this actor Kunal Rai Kapoor? He just every month spends one third of his income collecting wood,
Yeah.
just wood of different shapes. What are you
Do you know
saying?
how much he spends on Parle G every week? 4 lakhs.
How much does he make?
What is he
Nobody
doing?
knows.
Nobody knows. But imagine how much he makes if he's spending 4 lakhs on Parle G.
That's
That's
the
what people
answer.
will say.
That is the answer. Kunal, my very last quick conundrum, again about
Yeah.
acting. Um, a dear friend of mine and a friend of yours, Mukul Chadda, was recently on a film shoot, and he asked somebody he was working with something that has stayed with me forever because I think it's very symptomatic of life. He had died in one scene, and in the next scene, the director told him, even though you're dead, just get up and say to this guy, restaurant wahan hai. At which point, Mukul quietly asked, but my character has died.
Hmm.
And the director told him, just remember one thing, Mukul, आपका जो कैरेक्टर है ना, वो कोई भी टाइम पे कहीं भी किसी से कुछ भी बोल सकता है.
Okay.
And I feel like that is an apt summary of life. Like, do
Yeah.
you think? I think this director's hit upon something almost prophetic. That all of us are living this life where our character, at any given time can say anything to anyone.
Yeah.
So consistency, order, those are not important anymore. As long as आपका character कोई भी time पे कुछ भी बोल सकता है. It doesn't matter if you're alive, dead. 2 minutes ago you were mourning someone.
The important thing to remember about all this is that everyone's character कुछ भी बोल सकता है, कभी भी बोल सकता है. Every one of us can say
Yeah.
anything at any point. We can really like lose the plot and start saying a lot of shit. But everyone keeps it together. Your character is not your ability to say shit. It's the fact that what are you not saying? And you know what is stopping you from saying it? That's what defines character.
This is what I'm saying.
Everybody can say everything. Like, but what is stopping you from saying it? That is what's important.
Like, say if you were 2 more rums down and I wasn't
Yeah.
here, then our listeners would get a listen to some shit, you know?
Yeah.
Like you'd wake up in the morning saying, fuck, what have I done? You know, I just
Yeah.
left this stream of consciousness. I may have ruined a few careers. You know, I may have
Right.
said some stuff. But you are, आपका character क्या नहीं बोल रहा है is really life.
Yeah.
Not आपका character कोई भी टाइम में कुछ भी बोल सकता है. आपका character क्या नहीं बोल रहा है.
क्या नहीं बोल रहा है? He's not saying many things. He's only saying this. That's where your character lies, in the fact that through cancellation of all other options, he's come up with this. That is your character.
It's like in any family dispute, when someone's going off like a grandfather or some father, there's always one character who's about to say something, you know, like, and he checks himself. Because
Yeah.
you know that character, if he said shit would go down.
Yeah.
But it's what he's
No,
not saying that, yeah.
It's exactly that. But not only not saying, but what a person chooses to say. I'm saying
Yeah.
that to every line that I say or question I ask, you can have 40,000 responses. What defines you as a person is how you choose to respond to it, right? You could say any of those 40,000 things, but it's the fact that you've chosen this response, and that goes for anyone. A
Yeah.
mother-in-law's character, daughter, a brother, the protagonist, the villain. What makes him choose those words is what defines
Otherwise,
him.
it's lawlessness, right? Like,
Otherwise, anyone can say anything.
I'll come to your house and I'll fuck your dog. You know, like,
Yeah.
say stuff like that. It's like, okay, man, I don't think I want to talk to you anymore. You know, it's like that.
Yeah.
It's what you don't say. Instead of that, you
Yeah.
say, chal, I'll see you next week. Huh? You know, it's...
Yeah, that's it. You're not going to shave your dog and eat its liver and all that stuff. You're not going to say all this stuff. You're going to boil your turtle. You can say all these things. I can walk on fire. I can say any sentence right now. I can say, I'm a dolphin. But I'm not saying these things. That's what defines me as a person.
That's what gets you invited to places. You know, that's what gives you this basic decorum, civility.
Yeah, basic decorum in life and how you interact in society. That's, I mean, we would all just
like,
love
you know,
to start talking shit,
It's like I invited Kunal for a dinner party. Who, that lovely Kunal Kapoor? Yeah, what happened? He showed up, had 3 rums, took off all his clothes, and started saying he's a dolphin. I don't think I'm going to call him again. I don't think I can invite him again. He just started taking off all his clothes, saying I'm a dolphin, and he broke my toilet and he left.
You know any plumber or what?
But it's just that you're not doing that.
I'm not doing it. I'm stopping myself from doing many things.
इस फिल्म में ना आपका कैरेक्टर बहुत कुछ नहीं बोलता है. That's what life is.
Yeah.
On that note, listeners, choose your words carefully, and if you'd like to join us on a weekly basis, we're always here. Not saying a lot of things while saying other things. At patreon.com/our last week. We love you.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.
You were listening to Our Last Week, produced by Rajesh Tahil and Avdoot Khanolkar, hosted by Anuvab Pal and Kunal Roy Kapoor, assistant producers Akansha Kadam and Rahul Vaswani.